Okay, right? Are we good? Please tell me. Please tell me people can hear me and I'll be in a good state. Microphone seems to be picking up. I think it's working. Come on, guys. Get me in the chat. Get me in the chat and give me some good news. Nice start screen. This is all good. I've got the chat in the screen there, but it takes a while for it to update. So it's a case of whether... Yes! Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Oh, boy. Yeah, not normal for me. Yeah, probably not. But then as much as this is all talking in front of a camera is fine, doing it live is different, because I don't usually end up doing live. But also, this is the first stream, so I wasn't even worried so much that, I can talk rubbish in front of a camera. That's easy for me. But I was more worried that something along the lines of technology would fail. Like, so the microphone would suddenly want to die, the camera would die, the internet would die. And I just recently upgraded the internet as well to like 900 megabit connection or something. So it's like, if that was a problem, then that would have been just game over, I think. But I say, glad you like the start screen and all that. The last few days I've been squeezing in like the odd 30 minutes in between game club night and work and everything to get this set up. And I wanted it to kind of look a bit like you do on Twitch, but not actually be a Twitch setup. So I did what I usually do, went online to my source, got some templates, had a play around, changed the color, and put some logos in, some bits and bobs. And I've got effectively a start screen, pause screen, end screen. I've got a web browser thing, so if I want to, I can. If I'm really desperate, whoop, transition, and move into this screen, which hopefully you can still hear me on there. And that would allow me to, show you a web browser as well, which is currently showing my my YouTube live stream bit. But this is in case I wanted to show you something on Board Game Geek and the like. So hopefully you're picking up the audio through this screen as well. But let's go back to the live chat, because that's the point of me being here. Yes. Yeah. So who have we got then? Familiar faces. Vincent. Yes. Meeple Overboard. Thank you. The Hexy Beast. Yes, you're practically like always on my channel now ever since I gave you the shout out, which is fair enough. Are you still practicing Architects of the West Kingdom so that you can we can have a rematch? Because I'm sure that's your mission in life, isn't it? Technology failed for me during a conference speech. No issue. Good to see you. Hi all. Yes. Hi everybody. And thanks. Yep. Cheers for confirming the transition works. The stinger, as they call it. I was kind of worried about that. I mean, this is like completely new. Oh, Faye. Oh, you spoke to me the other day on Facebook. Good to see you. I mean, this is an entirely new thing with OBS, because I ended up going on Udemy.com and doing a course on OBS. I kind of skimmed through a bit of it because some of it was more advanced, but I basically went on the OBS, did the Udemy course, got me the basics in this software, watched a few YouTube tutorials to get the audio settings right, because if any of you listened to my first podcast episode, I used OBS, but I didn't know about filters, so my audio was rubbish. But that got sorted when I watched some tutorials, and we're good. Good on the transition, thank you. Enjoyed the Shelf by Shelf. Thanks, Dean. I didn't realize that series was going to take off as well as it did. I mean, it did, like 2,000 odd views per video or so, which is good, I suppose, for me. I mean, I'm overreaching myself trying to get loads of views, but, it was popular. People liked it. So don't expect an update, because, let's face it, it's not going to change that much, is it? But I will, on the podcast, mention games that have left the shelf, come off the shelf, ratings have changed. I'll do that as kind of like the intro to a podcast, so you will get that. Who else we got? Mario, is that right pronunciation? But yeah, good to see you finally. Thought you were live streaming Great Western Trail. Well, it's not bonfire season yet, mate, so wait till we get to like the winter time, maybe November, and then maybe I'll live stream a public bonfire for that game. Hello from Mexico. Wow, nice one, mate. I do love Mexican food. Now I'm getting hungry. Morning from New Zealand. Thank you, John Stone. John Stone's been chatting to me a bit lately. His website's got my banner on it. We've just been chatting about various things. It's good to get in contact. Dundee, so a little bit closer to home. Close to the home, the other end of the country, but still. Was it called? Oh, newtome.com. No, Udemy. So in fact, actually, let's play test this. Let's play test this web browser. So I should be able to get the website for you. So let's have a look. Udemy. Here we go. So Udemy.com. They cost, but they tend to have sales on very often in terms of like, here we go, yeah, price as low as £14 at the top there. And they have these offers on, so you can get some courses pretty cheap, but they've got all sorts like financial courses and technology and that. But if you look at specifically in fact, actually, yeah, were you able to see that screen? Let me go back to it and see if I can get more of it, because the resolution on the screen is a little bit different. Maybe if I log in. Hopefully you can't. Yep, you cannot see my passwords. You're not having it. But here we go. So let's start learning. So what are we at? Photoshop training, which to be fair, I 10 hours left. I kind of got a bit bored because Photoshop is too complicated for me. Podcast masterclass. There's an After Effects one at the other end of the screen. I don't know how I can scroll to the other side of the screen on OBS though. That's the only thing. So you can only really see the left-hand side of it. But basically, udemy.com. That's what you want for the courses, and that should get you what you need to do. But I'll sort out what I can do with the web browser at some stage another time. Still teething problems, so we'll get on with it. Going back to the chat. So before I get back to the chat, yeah, the idea of this was just to test it out. Here's the provision template, which is pretty much going to be final. But I want to do... I've got the music sort of intro. I was going to do a proper intro, but I didn't have time. So I basically just got a tune, found a 30-second track, put the starting screen up and put that on, which you guys seem to like all right. So maybe I'll just stick with that and keep things simple, less stress. But this was basically just test the waters, test the microphone works, the camera works, where I've mounted it, the laptop. Even though the laptop is gushing out fan noise, the microphone shouldn't be picking it up with the filters, which is good. And it's just to get to know you guys. So you can ask questions in the chat. Just keep it, keep it civil, keep it nice. Let's avoid controversy and all that. And apart from talking about bad games, that's fair game. But otherwise, yeah, just ask anything you like and let's have a chat. I mean, this is both. I've been stressing out like mad to get this working, but to see you all in the chat, regardless of how many of you are in the chat, I'm not going to look at that number because I think that would just, to see that there's like 10 of you in the chat, probably not what I need to know. But, just to know that some of you guys who I've been chatting to for ages took the time to come here, particularly some of you in major time zones. Some of you are in the States or that area. So that's already earlier in the afternoon or morning. John, who was messaging me is, I believe, Australia or New Zealand. It's one of the two, sorry. But that, I believe you had to get up for 6 o'clock in the morning to come to this stream. So that's commitment. I'll give you props. So what have we got then? Let's go up to some questions so I don't fall out of track. So, hey, Luke, you recommend any solo survival games? So when you say survival, you mean like where your goal is to basically just not die or something like that? Then... I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind instantly is Robinson Crusoe and First Martians. Pick your poison. Do you want The Martian as a board game, or do you want Robinson Crusoe, like Indiana Jones type thing, as a board game? Pick one of those two. That's basically solo survival in a box. Meeple Overboard, Udemy. Yep, you got it. Despite my dodgy web browser, I'll see what I can do with that. I think it's a resolution thing. I need to get the pixel thing right so it shows the whole browser, but without making it illegible, if that sense. London is calling. Sweet. Luke, what have you been your go-to games during lockdown? I started off spamming innovation like crazy on the Board Game Arena. And with that, I was doing that a bit for Board Game Arena at first during April. And a few of the other games on there, like, I'm trying to think, some of the easy ones, like Seven Wonders and... Takinoko and Flamrouge, some of the easy games on there. Then I started learning Tabletopia, which I liked at first, and it was good, things like On the Underground and Architects of the West Kingdom and that are good on there. But then my friends finally got me to buy Tabletop Simulator, and I finally learned the interface, and now I think that's the king. If you're going to play a wide range of games online, use Tabletop Simulator, and there hasn't really been any go-to games as such. It's just a case that I've played what games have been available, but recent ones, I I played Viscounts of the West Kingdom recently, which incidentally, first impressions, excellent. Really enjoyed that one. Is it better than Architects? Hard to tell. Architects with the expansion Artisans is very, very good. I mean, that's a 10 out of 10 game for me. But Viscounts was at least a 9 from first play. So I look forward to getting a copy of that because I didn't kickstart it and really getting into grips with that. But I should be able to teach people on Tabletop Simulator because there is a mod for it. So maybe some of you can play with me. London Calling, sweet. Gotta make certain I don't lose. If I lose, I'll say this. If I lose track of a question because I'm rabbiting on too much, then I do apologize. I will try to sort of get back to them as quick as I can, or I'll try not to miss out too many. Oh god, yeah, I didn't realize there'd be so many people in the chat. In fact, here's an idea. I'm going to go find the pop-up window for the chat. And I'm going to keep it somewhere so that I can scroll back in case I miss any. Alrighty, so what have we got? Looking good. Soul Calibur, thoughts? Odd question, but you talking about the beat-em-up games on... what are they on now? PlayStation? I'm not sure. I love Soul Calibur, though. I used to play the original couple on, I think, the Dreamcast when I had that console. But now the only console I've got is a Switch, and I haven't played that much. I'm more of a PC gamer. And yeah, I do love that game. So, yeah, the Soul Caliburs are great. Chat says 30 people. I'll take 30 as a first going. It's not like I was expecting 300 or anything, but to see 30 of you is fantastic. And as I get more comfortable doing this, there'll be more streams. In fact, I've already got 4 lined up that I want to do in the very near future, like next week, where I've got some E-Raptor inserts downstairs. They've been made, and for Maracaibo, Runestones, Memory, 7 Wonders Complete, and Tainted Grail, and I've assembled them, and I want to stream live, packing them away. So if that's of interest to you, keep an eye out for those when I put the events up. Go to London. Are you backing any Kickstarters currently from the Dark Hater? Yes, I went on a bit of a spending spree because, as well as my day job as a chartered tax accountant, I do some accounts on the side for a couple of friends, in a sense, and charge like reduced fees. But I got paid recently for some work, and I spent it all on Kickstarter, like you do. So I've got loads on the go, though. I mean, going back, I've got like the Chronicles of Crime, Millennium stuff. I've got, trying to think, Time of Destiny is the one they did. I've got Aether Fields. I've got Fantasy Brawl. I did the Hell Saga, or whatever it's called, the one that Sam Healy and Mythic Games were doing. That's really good. But the 2 I've done recently, most recent 2, were the 2 big ones at the moment, which is Dead Reckoning and Perseverance. I was a bit ho-hum on Perseverance at first. I played the second episode and I thought, really good, but I don't know. But then I got paid by the fees and I thought, oh, well, whatever. Because, I mean, I don't think you can see it, but Tricarion and Anachrony and Cerebria are on that shelf. I do like Mind Clash games, so I figured good. As for Dead Reckoning, that was an auto back. I mean, I've got Edge of Darkness and Mystic Veil down there, almost fully complete on Edge of Darkness. I'm missing one expansion, but I love the card crafting mechanics, so I figured, yeah, I'll take more. Even though pirates aren't a favorite theme of mine. Easy for us US peeps, 2 p.m. in Maine. Well, good. Glad it's easy. I mean, it'd be handy to sort of gauge where people are, because I don't want to do the streams at the same time all the time. You know, I mean, 7 p.m. is convenient for me. I've finished work, I've had my dinner, and I'm good. But that might not be convenient for some of you, particularly like Australia, getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'll vary it, and hopefully you can make... I mean, if you can't make every stream, you don't have to. But if I vary the times, then perhaps that'll be a good thing. How do you think the digital version of Root is going to turn out? If you can play against the AI, and the AI is done competently, then probably fine. But to be honest, I've not played Root that much. Because the biggest problem Root has is the same problem that the predecessor that it was based on. What was it called? I can't remember. Somebody put it in the chat, but it was where you had the knight, you had the goblins, you had the cave. It was something Tavern of Caves. I can't remember. It's so long ago. But that one, you know, you had to learn a different game every time you changed faction. And it's the same for Root. So if you learn how to play one faction, you've then got to learn how to play another faction the next time you come round. And it just meant that it was impractical for me to even think of having it in the collection. I found it fine when I played it the once, and I would happily try it again, but I've no idea. It's just too impractical to be on my shelf, because I need to be able to teach people easily, and Root cannot be taught easily. Okay, carrying on. So what we got there? Looking good like the star field. Yes, the template basically had several of these. This one was originally purple, but it had color correction, so I could change it to green. And as I said, I wanted this to look a bit like the Twitch streamers do. The Twitch streamers all have like hearts and weird stuff poking all over the place and massive swirly stuff. I mean, I have no idea how Twitch works. Literally, my contact of Twitch has been watching 6 sessions of Dave Loser and Ilka Loser doing their this game is Broken stream, or whatever they call it, Loopalooza, I think they call it. That's all I've had with Twitch. Other than that, I know nothing about Twitch. So chances are I'm not going to be joining that anytime soon. Hello from Rotterdam. Yes, I really want to go back to, Netherlands and Belgium and Holland and all that area, because I've never been to Belgium, but I know fans are from Belgium, so I really want to try it out. I went to Amsterdam once, briefly. I enjoyed my time there. Unfortunately, it was with an ex-girlfriend who decided she was going to kind of stab me in the back at the time. So I kind of, that brings back bad memories. But yeah, I need to come back to Amsterdam and that area to have another go, because I really enjoyed the time I was there briefly. Okay, let's have a look. I'm falling behind here. I did not think I was going to be doing this. So here we go. Cool, blimey. Yeah, I'm falling behind. Right, let's try and do these quick then. Right, New Zealand. Sorry, New Zealand, John. Thanks. Tabletop Simulator for the win. Yes, agreed. We'll have another game of Architects of the West Kingdom at some point, mate, when you've got a bit of practice. Okay. Are you a fan of the Pandemic Legacy series? If so, have you got Season 0 on order? I like Pandemic Season 1 and 2. I'm not going to show you, but on the wall over there, because I don't want to give spoilers, but I've got the boards for Pandemic Season 1 and 2 on the wall, finished. I played it with a certain group of mine. We enjoyed it. I preferred Season 1 personally, but 2 was still decent. However, I just watched Tom Vassel's Season 0 overview, and before I was done vomiting from the look of the board, I mean, it's grey. It's all grey. Ew. It literally, I mean, taking away Austin Powers, it looks like he was beaten with an ugly stick. But the rest of it, when he was explaining the overview, makes it sound like it's Twilight Struggle light. It's like, are you actually fighting a disease then? It doesn't look like it. And I'm getting sick and tired of pandemic just being a keyword that you shove on a game just to make it sell. Pandemic was about fighting a disease. That's why I liked it. Season 2 wasn't too bad. It was still technically a disease, a post-apocalyptic disease, but it was still a disease. This one doesn't sound like it even touches a disease, or if it does, it's not going to happen until the end of the session, the whole saga. I'm not interested in playing some Cold War communism agent variant with a pandemic system. So, I don't know. I need to find out more information about it, but let's put it this way. I'm not excited for it at the moment. Okay, right, here we go. Problem with TTS is that a lot of the mods aren't official. Yes, that is true. I do like the interface. Some of them are official. The Viscounts of the West Kingdom is official, and so are a few of the others. Dale of Merchants, very good on TTS. That is official, because I played with a designer on that, Samir Laxo. But you're right. They're not all official, so if you're at the end of the day, yes, they're not official, but it's free advertising for the business, because I would much rather play the games in person than on TTS. But at least being able to try the game makes me think, oh, I want to go play that game now. So it's still kind of advertising for them, but I get anybody who says they don't want to do TTS because of the non-official stance. That's perfectly fine. It's whatever you fancy. Okay, what do we got? Are you a fan of the... Oh, sorry, I've skipped one. Pandemic series. Claire Cooper, thank you. Hey, Luke, I'm intrigued by your accent. Every now and then you say some words with an American accent. Were you brought up in the States? No, and you're not the first person to say this, actually. I am from the UK entirely. I'm from the West Country of the UK, which is basically Somerset, where I'm from. And it's like Cornwall and Devon and all that way. So I have a very deeper, usually a deeper voice. Sounds like a farmer. We get taken the mick out. We're like, "Whoa, Farmer Giles." That's why my Discord name is Farmer Giles, and so was my ten-pin bowling name at university, actually. But the thing is that I watch a lot of American shows. A lot of the series I watch, The Flash, Arrow, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., tons of other stuff. The Orville. Basically, I watch so much American TV, it's unreal. And I watch Dice Tower, and I watch Rodney Smith. So I watch a lot of Americans. And I think it's just seeping into my accent, and occasionally I do blurt out some Americanisms. Although, not entirely all Americanisms, I will still say herb because it's got a H in it. But yeah, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. My accent just seems to chop and change. It's still got the Somerset West Country accent in there, which is only familiar to anyone who lives in the UK. But yeah, I just randomly spout Americans. I had one person think I was Australian at one point. No, until it turned out I was. G'day, mate. It's not really going to work for me. Speaking of good day, glowing turtle, good day. I didn't actually see that. Luke, if you're using a browser within OBS, it's pretty limited. I find it's better to use a window capture source. It was a window capture. Then you can tool it from the browser itself. All right, I'll have to do some tweaking. It is a window capture. So it may be that I put the resolution too high in the settings, but I'll find a way. I want to make it fully legible though as well, because it's no good me showing you a web browser page and you can't read the text. So we'll have to see. I have Artisans coming tomorrow, so looking forward to that. Sweet, good. Yeah, Artisans is a brilliant expansion. I did a review of this October last year. Check it out on the YouTube channel if you want to know more. But put it this way, in a short final word review, I will not play, I will play Architects without it, but I will never teach Architects without it. It is that good of an expansion and easy to include. If you understand Architects, you will understand the 2 extra mechanics that are thrown into Artisans. It's that good. And it even balances out the game to an extent, because one thing I had, which was problematic for Architects, it was the one minor flaw I had, is that money was only useful up to a point. Once you kind of bought all your apprentices and stuff like that, money had no use, so you never really cared if you dumped a ton of people in prison and that. But Artisan solves that. The extra cards that you can put, the red and yellow borders, the yellow border ones, which you put above buildings to get bonuses, they cost a good chunk of money each. And they're great. They're victory points and they're cool bonuses. So they're worth getting with money. So now money has a proper use when you're done buying apprentices. And that alone would make me buy the expansion. But yeah, the rest of it is all icing on the cake. Okie doke. And we got, do you recommend any London-based board game group? My lady is the only game partner for now, and I want to try 3-player plus games. Yeah, don't blame me. Although 2-player is still good, but I don't get to play a lot of 2 players. I honestly don't know. I mean, if you look for London on board, pretty much if you look for any location with the words on board after it, you'll typically find somewhere. But I don't go to London very often, so I'm not that knowledgeable with London-based groups, but you'll find some. I mean, if you want a tip, are you on meetup.com? Meetup.com, meetup.com. If you go on there and search board games, and I think you can search by location, it will come up with a big list. And typically, a lot of these board game clubs, including my own in Portsmouth, hence, no, I don't have a logo on the screen, that's the cafe, but you will find a board game club in London. I mean, there's got to be loads there. You should be able to find one, but I think it's just going to require an internet search. Okay. Scrolling down. God, I am miles behind. Purchase Paladins of the West Kingdom for me, and also Dice Hospital. Yeah, Dice Hospital's fine. I didn't like it enough to keep it, but I would play it. And Paladins I did have, and I reviewed highly, but it quickly went down for me. I just kind of got a bit bored doing the same thing every game. The dryness didn't help. I still respect it. I would never say it's a bad game at all. I think it was just not necessarily for me. I enjoyed it a few times and then thought, nah, I prefer Architects, and also Viscounts I prefer to it. But good on you, mate. Paladins is popular, and I can see why it is. That's not a thing. Okay, would you be interested in a solo Wild West adventure game? It's called The Drifter, print and play. Hard to say. I mean, I do have Western Legends in the other room, so I don't mind Wild West games. Solo games are cool. I don't tend to go for the whole print and play thing, though. That's the only thing. But one thing about stuff I do on this channel, which I know I have done, is that I try to stay away from pre-Kickstarter, sort of pre-developed games. And the only reason for that is because you occasionally come across some you don't like, but then you can't say, oh, it's garbage, because, they need to make a living on Kickstarter. But on top of that, I think it's just time. I've already got games to talk about, other topics to do, and these videos and that take ages to edit. If I was to include print and plays and pre-Kickstarter, previews and things, it just take too long. And there are people out there, channels that do a great job. I even highlighted some on the recent top 10 other YouTubers list I did. I highlighted some that specifically did previews. So maybe have a chat with them. That would be a better idea. But I think some people would just do it better than I would. Okay, in fact, can I enlarge this chat screen so I can get a better view of it? Yeah, slightly. God. I'm not a huge Pandemic fan myself. Couldn't stand season 2. Are you going to buy another Calyx? No, I've said to myself, no more Calyxes. I mean, the only place they'd be able to go is on top of another Calyx, so that's not going to happen. We did get a few hours sleep, John. Yeah, good. And, oh, I've skipped a few. Let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, blimey. How have I... I'm grateful for you guys being in the chat and doing all this chatting, but yeah, at least you can see what's going on in the screen with the live chat green box. But poor blimey, I'm falling behind. No wonder. I thought people were slow when they did these streams. It's like, come on, you can catch up with the chat. Now I see what they're going through, and I've only got, what, like 30 people in this chat? So we'll see. Okay, let's see if I can go back to where I was. Let's see. I'm planning on getting artisans, and I'm able to trash Constantine with base. Okay, cool. Still prefer paladins. Like I say, fair enough. Luke, I broke down. Hanks 2404. Good to see you, mate. You chat to me quite often on Facebook comments and YouTube comments, so good to see you. I broke down and got the official Meeple insert and debt poker chips for Architects of the West Kingdom. You picked that one up yet? I don't have an insert for Architects because I don't know if it would hold artisans, and I can get it and artisans in one box, so it doesn't really need an insert. If they do an insert, I'd probably rather go to folded space, I think, for an insert for Architects. But again, I think the insert they've got, I don't know if it does artisans. And even then, I think it lifts the box lid up. And I hate that. I hate that. If you want me to put an insert in your box, you make the lid close flush, or I don't want it. Yvonne Stone, good evening, Luke. Thank you. Thank you for coming on to the chat. Tim Risey, I remember playing Tin Horizon 83 with me. I remember playing with you fondly. What game was that? I've lost track of what I've been talking about. Was it Root I was talking about, or maybe it was Architects I was talking about? Oh, blimey. You might have to remind me, Tim. I'd forgotten what game that was. Oh, my memory is not good. The older I get, the worse my memory does. Top tier games, amazing. I'll try not to read out every single comment. Let's try and focus on the interesting ones. You're a the questions, shall we say. That was the whole point of this thing. Oh man, you're a chartered tax accountant. As a fellow accountant, yeesh, as boring as my job is, at least it's not tax work. Yeah, I'm better with numbers, so I do like the tax more, but work has been very stressful lately. When we got to isolation for COVID, we went remote. I'm still remote now. This is the same station I do my work. And we went to 80% hours, so 80% pay, 80% hours. But the problem is, one of our team retired. We were on remote, so the software was only so good. And the workload did not go to 80%. It stayed at 100. So we are so far behind with stuff, and I've got so much on my plate that each week is very stressful for work at the moment, and I'm having to relax as best as I can, which I realised my tea will start getting cold. I was going to say, I make a big deal about tea and coffee because I'm a fan, as long as it's decaf or caffeine-free. So chamomile tea tonight to calm the nerves, shall we say. It's my relaxant tea. Okay, the guy from New Zealand is insane for still being up. Well, I can't speak for John specifically, but maybe he is. I must admit, I'd be a bit mad in his shoes. Vast. Yes, Vast the Crystal Caverns. Now it reminds me. Yes, that's the one. Did you check out the Shivers Kickstarter? No idea. No idea what it is. I don't pay a lot of attention to Kickstarter for the most part, unless it's a publisher I know well. And usually I rely on just catching other channels to tell me about it. And as soon as I watch a Kickstarter overview, I go, oh, that looks interesting, maybe. But, I try to not back every single Kickstarter that comes out unless I know it's from a reputable source. Okay. Also, if it's cost effective, delivery is insane right now. Vast. Would you say On the Underground is a train game? No. I think I've made this point on another list before. No. This On the Underground is, it's Ticket to Ride level of rules. It's fantastic, but it's not. You're not doing shares. You're not doing anything like that. You are literally just putting your network pieces down and building a train route. But you're not trying to get from A to B specifically. You're trying to get that lazy passenger to ride your rails. It plays fundamentally different from that. Just because the theme is trains, it could have been taxis. It could have just been a map of London and it was taxis instead of trains. It makes no difference theme-wise, but it just allows you to use maps of the world as, subway networks. But yeah, On the Underground's fantastic. I love it. I think you did a review of Dice Star Awards last year. Are you planning to do it this year as well? I was. If you still want it and there's popular vote, I'll talk about it. Well, in fact, actually, I need a topic for this week's Sunday's podcast. I was going to start the BGG Top 100, but maybe that can wait a week. Maybe I'll talk about it this week. Actually, yeah, I will talk about it on this week's podcast on Sunday because I want to also rant a little bit about the Spiel des Jahres Awards recently. So I'll cover two birds with one stone. All right, cool. I played Roots. Sign. I only discovered. Trying to think. Loser Palooza. Yep, that's the Twitch channel I was on about with Dave. Loser. Have you done any online conventions? Yes. If you, I suppose you'd have to check out my old Facebook and tweets, but Virtual GridCon I did recently. Paul Grogan's version of GridCon that we were meant to do at the end of June. He did the virtual one, run very well. I mean, he stressed himself out like he normally does. Seriously, man, take a break, have a Kit Kat. But it was a good time, and I was a bit hesitant on virtual conventions at first. I mean, I even did a big discussion in one of my podcast episodes to talk about virtual cons, and with that, it did pretty well. I basically said, look, here's 6, 7, 8 games I want to play really badly. I will teach completely new people, and I just got this microphone, hooked it up to my main PC, run TTS on Discord, and taught 6, 7 games to new people. They were pretty grateful about it. I mean, I know Jonathan Williams is a Hexy Beast because I taught him Architects of the West Kingdom, which is now why he has bought the game, and he's now on a revenge trip because I beat him in it. What do you expect? I was teaching you a brand new game, and I've played it probably about 20 plus times, so of course I had the advantage. But yeah, I mean, I'm more into virtual cons. They've got their pros and cons, but they are no substitute for going to a place and actually playing games. I mean, we've been using Discord on Southampton and Portsmouth on board gaming groups, but it's the same people, it's the same board game arena stuff, and I am just bored with those same games. But now my Dice Portsmouth cafe, which you can see the logo in the bottom of the screen there, the Dice Portsmouth, my hangout, shall we say, now that they've opened with obviously COVID, measures in place, they wear masks and only so much space and stuff like that. But now I go there every week, and even though there's only 4 of us there from the Portsmouth Club because people would rather stay at home, that's fine. That's their choice. If they want to stay at home, entirely your choice. I'm not going to think less of you for it because why would I? But the people who wanted to come and still meet can come and still meet. And they've been great lately. I played Pulsar 2849 the other night, Vindication the previous week. It's just so good to see people up close again because isolation has been killing me. I mean, the hairdo was bad enough before I got it cut, but you would have seen a chronological timeline of me going more and more insane during isolation when I just could not take it. Online speech is no substitute for face-to-face contact. Right, let's go get to questions specifically. I think I mentioned, do you watch any role-playing series like Critical Role, High Rollers? Sorry. No, I mean, I like RPGs, but I just haven't got the time to commit to them anymore. But I've done a fair few in the past, even run a couple myself. Dead Reckoning, Game of the Month. Greetings from Germany. Hi, Germany. Sorry that Essen got cancelled. I was looking forward to coming back to Germany again. Although, to be fair, I could probably do with visiting more of Germany than just Essen. So, because I've been to Poland twice, same area, to visit PortalCon, Ignacy Trzewiczek and that, like Krakow and nearby. And Essen is the only place I've been to in Germany. I kind of need to broaden my horizons a bit. Like I say, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands again, to rekindle Amsterdam a bit. I mean, even Poland in different areas. I really enjoyed Poland. The Polish are really nice, really friendly. The food is good. The drinks, the beers are pretty decent as well. It was blisteringly cold. I didn't care. It was still like, it looked like it was Christmas everywhere. And I quite enjoyed my time in Poland. I mean, it was a good place. Okay, the chat just suddenly did a massive skip. Oh, here we go. Are you going to buy another Kallax? No, not happening. Have I gone back a bit? No, I'm feeling good. Name 3 positive things about Concordia. Now you're just trolling. 3 things about Concordia. Positive. Trust me, this is harder than it looks. It's popular. It's not complicated. And it's colourful. Yeah, that's about it. Taunton, massive. Yeah, Taunton. That's my hometown, where I was born. My parents now live slightly outside of Taunton. One of my brothers still lives in Taunton. I go back every now and again to visit the parents, although not since COVID, but they came up to visit me the other week, which was good. We had a bit of a nice chat. What IP do you want a board game with minis for? I don't know. I mean, I don't get fascinated by minis any day. What sort of themes do I like? I mean, I like Marvel and DC, so maybe another superheroes tactical game with miniatures using like the Marvel universe. That'd be pretty sweet. I'm a Doctor Who fan, so maybe a Doctor Who game with miniatures, but not something boring like Time of the Daleks or anything like that. You know, something like done properly. But I don't know. I don't go mad for miniatures. They look good. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to argue. I've got Tainted Grail and Journeys in Middle Earth, Lord of the Rings there, but minis don't instantly make me go woo for a game. You know, I mean, as much as Cool Mini are not kind of rides on this train, it's not something I go mad for. My accent is weird for a Welsh guy. Okay, apparently. To be fair, I'm useless with accents. I cannot recognize other people's accents. I just seem to have 3 accents to my name, and I can't recognize a single other accent. I'm just bad. Which is not surprising. Language was never my first thing, because, in fact, brief story here, I don't want to drag it too long, but I grew up actually on the special needs register through school, because when I started primary school, I had a personal language disorder. It wasn't a disability, but it was a disorder. I struggled to comprehend language, and so my first couple of years of primary school were a bit tough. I wouldn't be able to sit still in assemblies. I'd go a bit nuts, you know, and my brain just couldn't really process what was going on. So I had a teacher, Mrs. Parnell. I hope she's around still. You know, I've not seen her in years, but she was kind of a private tutor, and she taught me to get past it. And eventually, by about year 4, year 5 in UK school terms, I bounced back and suddenly got into maths, started doing subjects, getting A grades, and eventually I conquered the disorder enough to be able to understand people and speak properly myself. Even though my speech is not perfect, I've never fully recovered. My THs are still bad, and I'll say think, not think, you know, and stuff like that, and my accents are a bit there. So when you hear me talk weird at times, half of it is regression from that odd disorder. But I eventually got through school fine. I was getting high grades, you know, not stupidly high grades, not like straight A's or anything, but, you know, some A's, B's, and C's. I was doing a decent all-rounder. But it was interesting that my mum told me I was on the special needs register all the way through secondary school. I didn't know I was. I thought I left it by the time I was at primary school, but apparently I was still on the register. I just never needed to call it into practice. So, yeah, I mean, you know, chartered tax accountant and all that stuff now after having a speech disorder. So it's, you know, I owe it to the primary school tutor that I had. Without her, I would have led a very, very different life, I can imagine, which is why teachers and, you know, tutors like that need all the support they can get. Okay, let's go on. Newton is on special here. Is it a good game? It's on my shelf. I do like it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I would stay with 7 out of 10. It's a good point salad streamlined Euro. The mechanic in it is interesting, where you're like putting the tiles down to trigger an action and bonuses. It is completely themeless though. Forget the Newton theme. There is no theme. It's just a Euro point salad. But unlike something by, say, Stefan Feld, I'm not the biggest Feld fan, but this is a point salad that's enjoyable. You know, it's not the best one ever, but Newton is good. And if you can get it on a decent value and you don't care that it's completely themeless, you'll probably enjoy it. It's a decent game. Okay. What are your thoughts on the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games? Well, I got Star Wars Rebellion, which is fantastic, but I haven't played it in so long because it's 2-player only. I have Outer Rim. Outer Rim was the killer to Gale Force 9's Firefly, which I know sounds like sacrilege because I love Firefly. The series cancelled. How dare you? But yeah, the Star Wars games are good, but they're just kind of milking it a bit. And I got bored with Imperial Assault. I don't care about Legion. It's kind of like, I want some more innovation. You know, if you're going to do an IP, use it for a bit, but you have to like plaster it onto everything. You know, Cthulhu was bad enough. All right, nice tea. What we got there? I see you pimped your Arkham Horror LCG folder. Doesn't it deserve a box? Oh, yes, I bought some Lever Arch files and presentation bits, and I've got them all in there. Well, it does have a box. The box is by... Where is it? The box, I think, is behind them. Yeah, it's... Oh, no, there's the box. That's the box. That's the Arkham Horror box. There's one there. Eventually it may do, but what I like to do is I like to keep the cards, like with the Lord of the Rings one here, I like to keep the player cards in a binder so that I can look through them and take them out and do my decks. The encounter cards get the box. And that's how I do with all my LCGs. Although I do need to come up with some decent storage solution for Marvel Champions, because that's running out of room. Did you ever hunt a Grail game of yours? Which one, if any? How do you feel about old designs being streamlined? Is it always good? I say streamlining works for pretty much any game. You know, games are stupidly complex these days, and apparently nobody on Facebook will talk about a game unless it's some 3.5 hour, 20 mechanic monstrosity. One of the reasons I didn't like Great Western Trail was the fact that I felt it was a million mechanics thrown into it just to make it like more complicated. Like, why are you deck building cows? It doesn't make any sense. And Isle of Skye was another example, where the first expansion, whatever it was called, I forget its name, but the first expansion of Isle of Skye completely changed the game. It just like completely, changed what it was like and all that. And it's just like, no, I can't go with that. Games do not have to be complex to be fun. Play on the Underground, like I mentioned earlier. The rules are Ticket to Ride levels of complexity, but it's a fantastic game. Did I hunt down a Grail game? Well, to be fair, I didn't really know it was a Grail game until... Well, I suppose, do you mean Grail game as in one that I was really interested in and I wanted to go hunt for? Once or twice. Let's see on the shelf. There's got to be one or two examples. I would say... First one that comes to mind immediately is Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. The Days of Wonder version I've got there. I kickstarted the new version. Looking very much forward to that. But yeah, I couldn't find Cleopatra earlier. Then I paid about £30 to get a slightly damaged copy of it. But yeah, I really like Cleopatra and the Society of Architects. But it's a bit fiddly getting it out of that box with all the plastic. So a new streamlined version of it with some improvements. Fantastic. I will take it. But yeah, occasionally I do hunt a Grail game, but at the end of the day, there's thousands of games out there, guys. There's so many. I've got like 200 games in this collection in the other room and on here. I can't play everything, so if I miss something, whatever, move on. Too Many Bones is something that I really want to play because I was chatting, but if you listen to my Jeremy Howard podcast the other week, we were talking about Too Many Bones because it's one of his favorites. I've never played it. I'd probably really enjoy it. But it's really expensive. I'm not going to pay that much money for a game that I'm hoping will be really good, with the exception of Kickstarters. But again, it's reputable companies and series that I'm aware of. I've not got anything by Chip Theory Games. I don't know if their games are brilliant. I've never played any of them. So to pay £200 for like a base set and a couple of expansions and that, I mean, it's probably about £100 and something just for the basic set of Too Many Bones. I'm just not willing to pay that much money on a complete guess. Do you think Gloomhaven is value for money compared to Pandemic, Xeon's End, Legacy campaign games? I would say, yes, it is. I mean, the thing is, I rag on Gloomhaven a lot. I still think it is one of the most overrated titles ever. But I still gave it essentially like a 5 out of 10. I think it's average. I don't think it's a bad game. I just wish people would stop talking about it. It's like, come on. And when Frosthaven comes out, it's going to be like that again. If Frosthaven gets to #1 on BGG and dominates the awards, I will flip my lid. But it's got a lot of content in it. And it's expensive. It's way too big a box. It's stupidly long, the scenarios and that, but I can't argue that there is a ton of content in the box. The problem is there's so much content in the box, you will not see it all. I don't want to pay for content I'll never see. It's okay having something like, well, you go through this story, there's 15 different ways that you'll end up, and you probably saw about 10, 12 of them as you played it through quite a few hours. You didn't see 2 or 3 of them. Whoopie-doo, okay, that's not a massive deal. But Gloomhaven, you could have like half that box unseen by the time you're done with it. And it's just like, no, I'm not paying for that much content. That was too much. But it's good value. I'll give it that. But personally, I would say find an easier to use one. I mean, Gloomhaven is a Euro game with a dungeon crawl theme pasted on top of it or something. It's not designed as a dungeon crawl. It's designed as a Euro game. But I hear a lot of good things about Xeon's End Legacy. I hear a lot of good things about Clank Legacy, and Pandemic Legacy is a much more approachable one. So that should be a really good one. They're all good value for money, with the one exception, Seafail, or Seafall as it was called. Don't buy that one. Where am I? Try to see who's in the chat. Still the same people, but there's a few new ones here. Hi to you all. Thanks for joining. Just noticed Mysterium behind you. Yes, still love it. People think it's popular to rag on it. I don't know why. I still love it. But I also like the sequel or whatever that came out for it. Obscurio? Oh, yeah, which is right above it. Fair enough. There you go. We'll do it, Luke. Thanks. Cool. Problem is, I'm so detached from the conversation as it goes on, I forget what I'm answering the conversation to. Fatal Paper Cut. Not something I want to die of, I must admit, but fair enough. Interesting name. Hey there, bud. How you doing? Seems to be going well so far. Cheers. Thanks for the positive feedback. I mean, by all means, guys, let me know if anything could be improved in that. You know, I'm glad it's going well, but if there is any changes that can be made, by all means, suggest them. I'll take them to heart because anything I can do to improve this channel, you know me, I like to keep it going. What's up? Hello from America. Thank you, Fred. What's your favorite legacy game? Have you thought doing a top 10 legacy games? I don't think I've played 10 legacy games. To be fair, I've played Risk Legacy, which was okay. Pandemic Legacy 1 and 2, which were really good. Sea Fail, I tried, didn't like it. I haven't played Clank Legacy, I haven't played Xeon's End Legacy. To be honest, I'm kind of just fed up with the word legacy. That they put legacy, staple it to the box in order to make it sell half the time. And there are some games I've played which they probably called legacy, but they weren't legacy. And like little card game. Here's a card game that when you play it, you get to tweak the deck and you get to rip up a card. You get to rip up a banana card, and now you put in a cherry card. What was that? Fable Fruits? Did that have a similar thing to it? Or was that a campaign setting? I don't know. But everything is trying to be legacy these days. And I think the fad is starting to die a little bit now. But yeah, I don't care if it's legacy. You know, campaign games are... The problem I have with campaign games is they're hard to get to the table because you need a dedicated group unless you're going to play it solo. So Mansions of Madness and Journeys in Middle-earth I've got down there. Fine. I play those entirely solo. So I play those and they're like mini little campaigns. I can deal with that. Tainted Grail, I play it solo. I can deal with that. But if I can't play a campaign game solo, then I've got to find the same people that are willing to meet up on a regular basis and do no other games. Bear in mind, I've got to review different games and play other games and not forget the rules to all these games. And I don't have enough time to even achieve that. So to do, every time a campaign comes out, I'm like, oh, how long am I going to have to spend with this one? So to be fair, I actually try to actively avoid campaign games unless it's an IP I particularly like. Like, you know, you couldn't pay me to not get Lord of the Rings Journeys to Middle-earth because I love Lord of the Rings. But, you know, legacy, campaign, everyone's trying to do it and I'm just getting sick and tired of the fad. Next up, Doing. What was that comment for? Destination London. Any game you recently bought that is not a Kickstarter game. I bought a little one. In fact, give me 1 second. I do have a pause screen, but I figured, nah, never mind. All right, bought this one. Lady in the Tiger. I mentioned it briefly on a podcast episode. I got it from the Portsmouth Cafe because I figured, well, they need some money, so I figured I'd buy a little game. And it's I've not even played everything in this, but it's basically 5 games in one. It uses 18 cards. I've played the solo game in this, which is really cool. But I've yet to try the multiplayer stuff and the 2-player ones. But it's all just based on, effectively, 18 of these cards, which have some beautiful artwork of like ladies and tigers and various other things in there. In fact, hang on, I need to get rid of the chat window for just a sec so I can actually see myself in the camera. So yeah, so you've got like the golden voice lady there, the tiger there. I mean, this artwork is lovely. It looks so cool. And it's just 18 cards and 5 games for £13 in my cafe. I thought, bargain. I'll try that. And like I say, the solo game in this is good. It's a nice, neat little puzzle game. I'd like to try out the other ones. So I might take it to the cafe next week and see. Will I do a review of it? If I've got time. We'll see. But it's difficult to play 5 separate games. That's the thing. I need to be able to play all 5 games several times to give it a fair review. Because you know me, I don't like doing first impressions. Okie doke. Next up is... I saw you review Crisis board game by Ludi Creations, but I'd never seen it in your videos or your shelf by shelf. Do you still have it? No, sorry, Jesus, I don't. I did used to have it, and I still like it. It was just quite a bit involved to get to the table as often, and I don't tend to go for economic games as much as other games, with some exceptions. Predaporter is on my shelf, fantastic economic game, but I still like it. In fact, it's one of those games that potentially, maybe I might buy it again and put it back in the collection. But I figured component quality, well, actually, no, component quality wasn't too bad, but it varied with the cards. So I would say it may come back into the collection, who knows? But Crisis is a good game. So definitely, if it's on your radar, give it a look. But I got rid of it quite a long time ago. So I think it was one of those ones where it would be in my top 200 games, but it's not in my top 100 games. And my collection is pretty much top 100 with maybe top 150 stuff in there. Okay, doke. Let's get another drink in because I'm running out of breath. I've no idea how long I'm going to do the stream for, actually. I was thinking 60 minutes, but I'm kind of on a roll, kind of enjoying it. So, I don't know. I'll keep it as long as you want me to, guys. But I would probably say 90 minutes max, but 60 minutes might be a thing. We're already getting on to 51, so we'll see. See what you guys think. We'll see how far I can get through these questions, because I don't want to miss too many. Let's go down. Right. Let's try and power through these nice and quick, like quick fire. Love Siphon, currently playing Rise of Fenris. Don't have any other expansions. Do you recommend them? Do you feel like IFA factions are underpowered? I can actually do pretty well with the green faction. The green faction, if you play them right, are very good for area control. I do think the purple is a little underpowered. It's hard to win with them. I have won with them, but I was playing against beginner players. But it's difficult. The purple is very much an expert level faction to use. But do I recommend them? Yeah, I own the complete set. Rise of Fenris included. Invaders is still really good. The air one, the airships, they increase mobility, and I like the fact that they give you different ways the game can end instead of just getting 6 stars. So, I mean, I recommend them all, but don't feel that you have to get every single one. That's all I can say. None of them, I would say, are essential. Greetings from Peru. Hi, Manuel. Consider getting Innis. Have you tried this Madigo trilogy with Kemet and Cyclades? Is that the one like where you can combine them in some way? I can't remember, because I know you could combine miniatures and that, but I mean, I like Cyclades. It's okay. Not the biggest fan of it, but I only want to play it if it's got Titans expansion in it. Kemet, I have actually backed the Kickstarter for, I've done a group pledge for the Kemet reprint. Kemet's pretty cool. I like it. And Innis is still on my shelf somewhere. Somewhere around here is, oh yeah, there it is, Innis. And I enjoy that one, but it's a hard one to keep in the collection though, because I enjoy it, but it's hard to find other people who enjoy it. And to teach it, it's quite a hard game to teach. So it's a hard one, that one, but I enjoy it. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not interested in anything that combines all three. That's just a bit much. Artisans, Depth Prodigies. What is your football club? I don't... Well, what is your football club? I will try not to let it affect my enjoyment of your channel. Well, I don't actually support football. Sorry, I don't. I don't have a football team, not even Portsmouth. I will happily join in a five-a-side kickabout and go in goal, because I can't really dribble for toffee. But yeah, I'm just not interested in Premiership football. That's more the rest of my family. If you want to know what the family does, Mum doesn't. My mum's not a football fan either, but Dad is a Man United fan. Ian, my eldest brother, is an Arsenal fan. And Kieran, my second eldest brother, because I'm the young one in the family, even at 36, he's a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Whatever. Let them have their fun. It's not for me. Not the perfect timing. Dice Tower is streaming right now. To be honest, Dice Tower streams like 90% of the time anyway. It's not like I could really govern exactly when. But the good thing with these streams is that they'll go on the channel and they'll stay there. So at least if you can't watch them live, you can watch it eventually. That's fine. And if you can't make my streams in the future, that's fine. You know, time zones and commitments aside. But if you watch the video later, it's still good. As long as you get some enjoyment out of it. Wait until you're 50. Come sooner rather than later, although I got to wait for 40 first. Thing skipped down again. I was talking about Soul Calibur, but I remember playing lots of Aliens TCG with you. Oh, right. Oh, okay, yeah. The trading card... Oh, blimey, you must be a blast from the past then. Yes. Yeah, wait on, Aliens TCG. So you mean the Alien versus Predator... Aliens Predator TCG at the purple backs? Oh, I used to love that card game. That was amazing. You could probably buy it on eBay really cheap. I mean, yeah, it had some broken mechanics in it somewhere, but you got to play as either, with the expansion, you got to play as either like the mercenaries, the marines, the aliens, or the predator. You had your own deck. You went into the map, the cards for the map of like bases and stuff and spaceships, and you basically had your own objectives and play style based on your faction. So your marines were easily killed, but you had all the cool guns and gadgets. The aliens swarmed everybody. The predator was one guy, but he was super tough and had all this technology. It was such a fun game if you like the Alien Predator universe. Granted, would need some serious rule tweaks and mechanic upgrades now, but we played the heck out of it. It was great. Alexis Phoenix, love your channel. Thank you very much. Great to see you doing a live stream. Will you be doing playthroughs and reviews and live stream or just chatting for now? We'll see. I mean, this is a test stream at the end of the day, but yes, I've got some eRaptor inserts. I'm going to build, well, I've already built them with time-lapse videos, but I'm going to assemble them into the games and show you how they go live. So with this one going so well, I'm going to book another 4 sessions, quick 30-minute ones, to build each of those games. That's the first thing I'm going to do. And then, yeah, maybe I will do some live reviews. I mean, maybe a live top 10. That'd be good, because I feel like I'm missing out on top 10 videos, and they take a long time to edit. So maybe you guys would just prefer me to do live chats. I mean, at the moment, I do a proper video every Wednesday and a proper podcast every Sunday. Streams are just going to be as and when. But if streams make it easier for me to do stuff, then great. In fact, the top 100, I'm due to do the top 100 for another year. I've still got to build the list. It takes me ages to edit the top 100. Those top 100s I've done in the past, they have almost maybe go to burnout at times, because trying to edit those lists, basically each one is a top 10 list, and I've got to do it 10 times. It's painful to do it all in August, and especially now as we're in COVID and all that. So what I'm thinking of doing is going through the list very quickly in rapid succession, not like showcasing games and not doing loads of pictures and stuff, but then just do it live. Maybe that'll be easier, let me know. Okay, what do we got? Before anybody starts to worry, my revenge trip is lighthearted. Yeah, we're just playing, but I mean, he has promised that he's going to beat me the next time, so I'll see. I will have to come to you for a game or two when time and tide grants me the time. Yes, definitely. Come to Portsmouth and we'll hang out, or I'll come to you, regardless. Cool, what do you got? Hello from Kuwait. Oh, blimey. My husband and I enjoy your videos. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much indeed. I look at my videos lately and I just don't see them getting the views. And then I see Twitch streamers with millions of views, like getting dodgy news in the celebrity articles and that. I see the big channels, Dice Tower, Ronnie Smith, no pun and all that. Some channels I watch, some I don't like at all. And, they get thousands and thousands of views just literally for putting anything out. And this is why I want to support the smaller channels. It's why I made a big deal in that other video, and maybe I'll do another one of those in the future. But the smaller channels deserve support as well. If anything, I think they're more enjoyable because they're usually more passionate and less prone to bias. But yeah, watch my welcome video. It kind of explains it a bit more in there. But thank you very much. Honestly, appreciate it. You do. Love Daleks. Tell us about the biggest thrashing you ever took in a game. Oh, good blimey. Can I even think of one? Biggest thrashing? I mean, if I play any game that I don't usually like playing, I'll probably get thrashed, but... I can't think of many Euro games where I got completely trounced. I tend to do reasonably well, even if I don't win the game. But if I take a thrashing, it's usually in the lighter games, like the lighter games that will have a luck factor. Or, I mean, the biggest thrashing I probably will take is something like a Survive Escape from Atlantis, where people will just gang up on me. But I'm trying to think of a Euro game where I've been demolished, in a sense. I can't... If anything, I get demolished in a co-op game because I don't play it well enough. That's usually the thing. I can't really honestly remember of a big thrashing. I know that sounds like I'm being big-headed, but honestly, it just doesn't come to mind that very often. But I must be able to think of something. Keyflower potentially. The first couple of times I played that, I was getting used to it, and I tried weird things, and it didn't turn out so well. No, to carry on, I've done well at that. Anachrony, I do well at that. I remember a Dinosaur Island game where I tried to do some weird strategy of just building nothing but feet. I think I didn't do very well in that, but I was trying to build complete carnivores. Like, I went for all the hungry dinosaurs, and it turned out to be a little bit more painful for the employees than I thought it would be. But yeah, that was a good fun one. Tell us about Daleks Love. Hi Luke, which are the best games you played so far that were published this year? Not many. Honestly, I can't think of many. I mean, Project Elite, I did the review for the other day, and that's decent, not brilliant. Tang Garden was pretty good. I like it. It's got some graphic design issues. I talk about them in depth in my review video, but I like Tang Garden. That's probably one of my favorites. But the thing is, there's not been a lot in 2020. I look at the new releases every week to see if Asmodee can send me something, and there's just nothing. There is just nothing around. 2020 is going to be such a hard year to do a top 10 for, because there won't be 10 games at this rate. But yeah, Tang Garden would probably be the best thing I've played. But I can't think of anything at the start of the year that drove me nuts, because the start of the year is devoid of games every year. And this is the point where we should be getting loads of stuff for Gen Con, but COVID has put paid to that. So unless the timing around Essen and end of August puts more games on the plate, I mean, there's stuff I'm looking forward to. The Rise of the Empires thing from Portal, looking forward to that. More stuff from Portal games this year as well, I'm looking forward to. Some of the Kickstarter arrivals will be pretty decent. I can't think of many retail releases that I'm gunning for. I mean, I tend to take a lot of games as they come rather than look too forward to, because you know me, I don't like to step on the hype train too much. So the lesser I care too much about its inevitable release, the less disappointed I am if I get the game and it's like, not a bit of fan. So I tend to just wait and see and go, oh yeah, there's that Kickstarter that was arriving. Sweet. Give it a shot. Want to give you a hug, one Luke to another. Douglas? It can't be you, surely. It can't be. No way. Can't be. Can't be. There's only two other Lukes I know from that neck of the woods, Douglas and Shire. And Shire I've not even spoken to in decades. Can't be Douglas. Oh, man. Sorry I haven't recognized you if that's the case. But, I don't know. This is the problem when you don't put your name as your avatar name, all right? It's not my fault. Ricardo Fox, which are the heaviest and the lightest games that you like? Light games? I mean, I don't like any old light game. Camel Up, one of the lightest games out there. You pretty much just bet on camels as they run around and stuff. Really enjoy it. It's a good laugh, so that's pretty light. Heaviest game? I'd probably say the Mind Clash games I've got are the heaviest stuff I have. Cerebria, Tricarion, and Anachrony. And I would probably say Anachrony. Anachrony, I mean, the Vital Lacerda games are all pretty heavy as well. On Mars, there's Boa and that. But if we're talking the most heaviest game I enjoy, probably Anachrony. That time travel mechanic, the theme of it, the mechanics that I love Anachrony a lot. I wonder if I think I did a review on it a while back. Jay Goddess, howdy Luke. Unfortunately, I'm late to the party. Well, at this point, you're probably not late because I've been so far behind on the chat. But thanks to you for joining. You don't have to get here from minute 1. That's perfectly fine. Get here when you can. Newton is good, isn't it? Yeah, it's a decent game. I mentioned it earlier. I love Firefly. Firefly, yes, so good. Such a good series. Cancelled before its time. Kaylee. Kaylee. Get out. Yeah, honestly. She's like, when everybody mentions like the crushes that they've got on TV, like actresses they really like, the two I can think of these days, one is Kaylee. Is it Kaylee? Yeah, Kaylee from Firefly. Honestly, she is the most adorable thing ever on there. It's just like every time when I was watching that series, every time the doctor bloke said something stupid or something like that, I pretty much wanted to like jump at the TV and go, "You moron!" It's like, she likes you. You're an idiot. It's like, come on. But otherwise, also Daisy Johnson from Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Quake. Really like her as well. Everybody's got a crush they like on TV, and those two are certainly mine at the moment. Can do. Have you got the new Everdell expansions? If you have, what do you think of them? I don't actually own Everdell, Levon. Thanks for joining the channel, by the way. I don't have them. I wasn't that bowled over by Pearlbrook or whatever it's called. It's a pretty small expansion. The base game's fine. I would like to try Spire Crest, the one with the journeys. My problem with Everdell expansions, though, is that they improve one thing, but then they make another thing slightly worse. You want more cards. Great. Each expansion adds more cards. But then it makes it more complicated in terms of table space and mechanics and that. So, and also on top of that, by adding more cards, you dilute the effectiveness of other cards. So it's kind of like you have to find this middle ground of what expansions you like. And I don't know what that middle ground is. I like Everdell a lot. It's high enough rating to be in my collection, but it's at my cafe. Friends of mine have got the collector's edition. I see it at every convention I go to. So frankly, I know I'm going to get it played. Great video with Jeremy. Definitely like seeing more interaction with other content creators. Yes, I've been wanting to do this for a while because as much as it's easier to do things by yourself, it gets a bit lonely. I get a bit lonely. I live by myself. But get out your violins. But yeah, I wanted to do more stuff with podcasts, but the problem is that as I found out with the Jeremy podcast, unless you get it set up perfectly, editing them is a chore. Both of us were picking up each other's voices in the podcast chat, and I was wearing a headset. How was I picking up his voice? He was using a USB condenser mic somewhere, and I can understand that picking up the audio because I hate USB mics. This is a dynamic one. But trying to edit two people speaking when they're picking up each other in their voice was painful, and I don't want that to happen every time I collaborate with other people. So by all means, don't put it in the chat because I probably won't be able to read it, but get in contact with me if you know a way that you're supposed to either do a Zoom meeting or a Skype call and record both sides of the conversation without picking up each other's audio, because we were using Audition and Audacity. Not like we were using Skype to record it, we were using our own software. And it still picked it up. I don't know why, but if I can sort that problem, guarantee you more stuff with other podcasters and that. In fact, I even got in touch with Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews after they saw my shout out on the other video, and Ryan's up for doing a podcast at some point. So again, if I can cross that problem, then fine. Just caught John Stone at the end of the other chat window there. Bye-bye, John. You got up early. Thanks for joining me, and hope I'll see you on some other streams and that, if the time suits. I know New Zealand's a bit tricky to do it, but yeah, thanks for joining. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Come on, got to get going with these. Tekenu Tai. I hate these stupid T names. You're talking about the new 2 ones. I've bought both of them. They're on pre-order. I've only played a demo of the second one, Taiwatini Su, whatever, and it's good. I don't know. I like Tekenu. I think Tekenu is pretty good, but it's too early days to say which one I prefer. I've only barely touched the second one. I don't know about Frosthaven, but Jaws of the Lion would make a worthy successor. Maybe. I mean, to me, it just looks like Gloomhaven, the mini version. Whoopie-doo, but everyone's going nuts for it because it's more Gloomhaven. What would be your recommendations for a campaign game where you level up your character, which continues to progress game for game? Well, isn't that every campaign game? I mean, that's kind of normally how it works, isn't it? Level up your character, which continues to progress game to game. Well, I mean, Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth is probably my highlight at the moment. Tainted Grail is pretty good, but I would probably go Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth first. You play through a good campaign, usually about somewhere between 12 to 14 missions. There are currently the base set and a DLC campaign in full, and they've just released, badly, the Fantasy Flight low stock problem they have. I haven't got a copy of it, but the Shadowed Paths expansion with another campaign. So you've got a good amount of content for that one. If you like Lord of the Rings, I recommend that one because your characters do level up as you go through the campaign. They get more items, they get better skills. You choose what paths they want to take, and it's Lord of the Rings. What more do you want? So I'd go for that one. Is it expensive though? Don't get me wrong. I agree, I have many unfinished campaign games, yes. Do you have a top 10 recent non-Kickstarter games video? So what, you mean a top 10 list in general? The last one I did was top 10 deck builders. It was the last video I did before I did the channel refresh. I do want to do more top 10s. I love top 10s, I just haven't had time, and obviously because I'm now restricting myself to one video a week, I now need to find other ways of doing top 10s, which is either the podcast, or if you want me to, I'll do live streams. Live stream top 10. Dice Tower do it, so why not me? Just means it would have to be less imagery. I mean, I could probably put up a picture if I prep it in advance, but you're not going to get me holding the game in front of me too often. Do you have a friendly local game store near you? If this is how you mostly get your games, what do they need to improve on? Well, I don't tend to buy a lot of games from a friendly local game store locally because they only have very basic retail stuff. Although, I mentioned the Lady and the Tiger one that I bought before, that was from Dice Portsmouth. So Dice Cafe, you can see the logo at the bottom of the screen. That is my local go-to board game cafe. It's in Portsmouth, about 15-20 minute drive from where I am, and friendly people. 2 friends of mine came to my club to say they were opening it. Took them ages. It was a saga and a half, but they got it done, and hopefully they won't fall under for COVID. So far they're doing okay. The Southampton one, Board in the City, is another one I go to. That one has not reopened, and I think that's going to have more financial issues than the Dice Cafe, but we shall see, I guess. But no, I mean, what do they need to improve on? It's hard. I mean, games are expensive for local game cafes. You're not buying a game from a local game cafe or friendly local game shop to save money. You're not. You're not going to save money. This was an exception because it actually was cheaper than even Chaos cards and all that lot. But that is a rare case. You're buying it from the local game store because you want to support that game store. So buy it for that reason. And the Dice Sports one's actually got a pretty good selection in their retail store. You know, it's better than most. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, I go to them to play games. I like the cafe element of them mainly. That's what I enjoy. But if they have got a game that I'm thinking of buying, even if it's £5-6 extra, I'll think, look, I'll buy it from you. You want the money. I want the game, and I don't really care about a fiver. You know, it's not really going to cut into my savings anytime soon. So I don't. At the end of the day, they just need to be what the title says. Friendly, local game store. And you do get some where the friendliness is yet to be desired. But yeah, you know, that's all they got to do, really. Can sympathize with those who want to meet up regularly. Maybe start them with family. Yeah, I mean, well, my family can only really play the symbol games. I would never play a campaign game with them. King's Dilemma I have been doing with some mates of mine recently, but COVID got in the way of it, so we probably can't even remember the rules to it now. Do you update your ratings in the BGD? Occasionally. It takes me a while before I get round to it, but sometimes when I've got a bit of spare time, I will go up and change them. I do need to do a comprehensive refresh on my ratings, I think, and that would be interesting because it would give me some material to use in the podcast where I talk about the movers and the shakers, where I, basically they're there. Tekenu beats Teotihuacan. Possibly. I mean, it's easier to get to the table. Hard to say at this point. I've shut up for a bit now. That's okay. It's okay. I mean, I understand perfectly how people fall behind on streams. It's the same to that, but I want to try and get to everybody before I close this down. Are you still playing Arkham LCG? What do you think? It's like, yes, I'm still playing it. Any plans on making more videos? Last one I recall was TFA. I did do a review of every deluxe expansion. So TFA was one, the Forgotten Age. I did do the Circle Undone, and I did a review for the Dream Eaters as well. So if you look back on my YouTube channel, you will find video reviews of those deluxe expansions. But, I mean, I've never done a playthrough video of it. I mean, I would have to bear in mind, this is usually one webcam. The laptop cam is rubbish. So I'd need a second camera, and I'd need a video capture card for a DLS to hook my proper video, my DSLR to it. I need a video capture card, and that's another £100 and something. But I do have another Logitech webcam like this one in the other room. It's an older version, but it still works fine. If I could get both of them connected to this laptop and work with that, maybe I could do a playthrough. Maybe I'll do an Arkham Horror one in the future, but that wouldn't be for a long time. I mean, that's like table space. I would need to really plan that one ahead. Do you prefer wooden inserts to foam? Chewy. Good question. I prefer wooden for the feel and the look, but they are more expensive and they are harder to assemble. But I have inserts from all sorts of people. I mean, Broken Meeple, E-Raptor, and Folded Space are the three insert people I tend to go for. And Broken Token, that's it. Yeah, Broken Token. Those inserts, I think, do better from a design perspective, but then the most expensive, and you've got to glue the wood together. So you're paying and suffering for that quality. The, the Folded Space, very cheap, very cost effective. In fact, they've sent me a few more recently. I'm expecting a few more, which I'm going to do live stream packing for, like with the E-Raptors. I bought a couple, Underwater Cities and Fields of Arle, which I'm looking forward to an insert for that. But the guy got in contact with me when he saw the order and very kindly donated me a couple of more inserts. So I forget which games they're for, but expect a couple of Folded Space videos to come in the future. And E-Raptor, the ones that I'm doing at the moment, they're wooden, but what I really like about the E-Raptor ones, yes, their designs could be a bit better in terms of their spacing, but E-Raptor don't require glue. You have to glue the others, including the Folded Space one. E-Raptor, you click into place, and it's got like a little hook thing on the bottom of it, and it sort of snaps in. Granted, you'll hurt your fingers a bit. They will be sore after putting these all together, and if you make a mistake, have fun getting them out. But they're quick to assemble if you do things right and just plan and take your time. But it's so easier just to be able to go, I got to do this box. Snap, 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 snap. Done. It's so much better not having to use glue. So wooden generally, but honestly, there's an argument for both. I like them both. Your favorite English beer and one from around the world. To be honest, I don't drink beer that often. I am a cider person. I'm a cider, so anything from Somerset and Taunton is certainly a favorite, but I like all kinds of cider. except when they go into the alcopop territory and start putting forest fruits and toffee apple and all that rubbish in it. If it's not made out of apple, or if it's not pear for Perry, it shouldn't be called cider. Just because you shove a fruit in it doesn't make it a cider. And I like wine, so wine is good. Beers, I drink occasionally. I have a couple of beers when I play Don't Starve together with some friends on Friday evenings and that. And if I go abroad, I drink beer because any abroad beer is better than UK beer by miles. But also because most abroad places haven't heard of cider. So unless I'm going to pay out for wine, I don't tend to drink spirits very much often now. I drink beer. I don't necessarily love the taste of it, but at the end of the day, I will drink it. It's refreshing. The ones abroad, like Poland and Germany, do pretty good beers. And the Dutch, they do pretty good beers as well. Actually went around the Heineken Museum when I was last in Amsterdam, actually. That was good. But in the end of the day, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I have that attitude where I go anywhere. I want to drink and eat the local food and drink. I hate it if I see any person, British tourist, in a foreign country, ask somebody for chips, I go mental. It's like, how dare you take the time and money to go visit this country, try a different culture, and order chicken and chips. So it's like, no, I want your local dish. I have like the local Polish fast food. I will have whatever bratwurst, currywurst, or whatever in Germany. If I go I can't remember what I ate in Amsterdam that was local, but I know I had something relatively local. But yeah, that's what I want. That's chips. Why do I want chips? Okay, where am I? Really enjoying your channel, Lou. Great first live stream. Thank you, Karen. Honestly, I don't know how many people are here, but I haven't looked at the number and I don't want to. But there's loads of people here. I'm loving this. And the fact that I've been talking for an hour and 17 minutes, I'll do this to 90 minutes, okay? I'm going to shut this down at 90 minutes flat, because otherwise we'll be here all night. But I'm so glad this has gone well. I'm definitely doing more of these, whether it's E-Raptors, playthrough in the future, or even just, you know what, I'm bored, give a day's notice and I'll do a stream. I'm enjoying this. Okay. Have you played the deck builder Terrors of London yet? Love the Victorian Gothic theme, but the preview opinions are a bit all over the place. I have not even heard of this game. Honestly, if it's a Kickstarter one, chances are I probably haven't heard of it. But I like deck builders if they're pure deck builders. Watch my top 10 deck builder video and you'll see 10 that I really like. But you'll notice in that video I mention a lot that I hate it when deck building is thrown in like a sideway game. I want it a pure deck builder. But I mean, if there's another pure deck builder on the way out, I would like to know about it. Do you know if Reef is going to have another expansion? I'd like there to be one, but I don't know of any news. They did this weird fish mini expansion, which I don't have, and frankly don't really need, but the game is good. It's a solid game. People don't give Reef enough press because they're always hooked on Azul and that, but I really enjoy Reef, and frankly, I just don't think it needs an expansion. It's cool. I like it for its simplicity. Even though when I teach it, people struggle to get it. It's weird. It's the one gateway game where people just seem to struggle with it more than others. Where are we at now? Basic orange squash. Look, we completely agree with supporting the small channels. They have better reviews than the big channels, which seemed rushed. Cough, 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 cough. It's like, who are you getting on in that one? It's like, who are you poking fun at there, Michelle? But yeah, I mean, some of them do, and I mean, they've got to put out so much content because they got to review every single game, but that doesn't always work. I mean, I love the Dice Tower, love their reviews and stuff, but they're pumping out reviews for games that I've never even heard of or couldn't care less about. There's just too many games out there. You can't review them all. And even I have to think, look, Luke, you've put yourself on burnout so many times reviewing so many games, like around Christmas time when the Essen games come out. I nearly killed myself doing all that run up to December. It was so bad. And I just have to accept, Luke, you can do other content other than reviews. People will watch your reviews, but they'll watch other things you do as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But you don't have to review every single game in existence. If 20 hot new games come out, play as many as you can. Review 5 of them if need be. Do other things. It's not like you have to review every single game, especially if I can just talk about them on the podcast and that. And that's kind of like a new refresh resolution I'm trying to make. I'm not going to try and review every single new release that comes out because it's just not possible. And frankly, as much as I like reviewing games, I'm enjoying this like crazy. I love top 10s more. There's other content I'd like to do. I want this to be a variety channel, not just reviews. And also, reviews are usually one of the things that get the least views on the channel unless it's the hotness game. Top 10 lists get a decent amount of views, but, you know, look at my Tang Garden and Project Elite list. Few hundred views, not even 1,000 views. People only watch a review if they're interested in the game. Otherwise, why watch the video? But top 10s are a bit more popular with that. Anyway, that wasn't really a question. John's departure. Looking forward to various stuff. Hexy Beast, no Kickstarter. Oh, have I started to catch up? Oh, good. That's good. That means I'm doing good for the 90-minute thing. That Journeys in Middle-earth character pack was dirty. 3 figures, 2 of which were... Yeah, that was bad. And yeah, that's actually advice. If you're going to pick up Journeys in Middle-earth, there is a small blister pack, right, with 3 miniatures that replace some of the bosses. 2 of them are in the base game and one's in the DLC campaign. You don't need that pack. I bought it because I'm a completionist. I wanted the lot and I like the miniature on the board, but you don't need it. It was a bit of a con. So if you buy Journeys in Middle-earth, get the base set and then get the DLC campaign, because the campaigns are on an upward trend at the moment, because the DLC campaign, I would say, is actually better than the base set campaign because it's got more branching paths. So, you know, definitely consider that. But yeah, be warned. Good for pointing that out there, Mr. Vala. Board games, everybody. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Thanks for joining in. To be fair, actually, Barry, I want to get in touch with you, actually, because if I do another top 10 other YouTubers video, I know you've got a YouTube channel and that. I want you to be one of the 10 that I do a shout out about, okay? All right, cool. You have a table. I do. I've got a Geekism table. In fact, actually, can I? Yeah, here we go. So it's a bit of a mess, and I'm plugged into the laptop, so I've only got so much thing with this. So here we got, yeah, Geekism table. So full on, big one. It's a bit too big for this room, though, I will say, because I didn't realize that alcove bit over there was a part of the dimensions of the room when I measured it. So yes, you can sit everybody around it, but anybody who is of the larger variety, shall we say, not always recommended. But TV, which I use for putting on music or app stuff, although I must admit it's a little buggy at the moment, which is a bit of annoyance. And I'm not going to show the Pandemic Legacy boards because of spoilers, but I got some, there we go, some Sentinels in the Multiverse posters from the Kickstarter. And I don't want to show that Pandemic Legacy board, but I have a Dalek canvas print in the middle as well. And story was that is I've got some canvas prints around my house, and I was on holiday with some friends. We used to go and just find a cottage and go rent it. And this guy was moving premises from his tiny little, it's like one of those marketplaces where you go into a building, like an old listed building, and there's like 20 different small stores. Well, one of them sold art prints, and I thought, well, I do need to decorate. And he was moving, so he didn't want to take all his stock with him. And he basically had a bunch of stuff really discounted, so I bought some huge ones like Times Square and some cityscapes and that are around my actual house. But that Dalek one, he was selling it for about a tenner. So I think everything was something like 50% off. It was stupidly cheap. And I thought, you're talking to a Doctor Who fan who loves Daleks. £10 for a canvas print? Of course I'm having it. Of course I'm having it. But yeah, sweet little picture. Where are we going? Where am I? In fact, I'm almost at the bit where I can start reading the funky green screen rather than everything else. Not quite. One of my annoyances with some games is that the quality does not fit purpose of play. Quacks of Quedlinburg fits into this, as I can't play without spending money on new coin tokens. Yeah, the quality was not as great with that one, because you're handling them so often and they get chubbed, so you got to buy the coin tokens with them. Although, I've bought coin tokens for Arkham Horror LCG as well, but yeah, I mean, component quality, I talk about aesthetics when I talk about games, it's important. And these days, I find it's hard to do bad at aesthetics. I mean, people sort of go, oh, gorgeous miniatures, and oh, look at this gorgeous artwork, it looks colorful. But there are good artists out there if you just go know where to find them. And with 3D printing and all sorts of other things now, it's not too difficult to actually do good components and good art. So when I see a game that doesn't have good components and good art, I'm more like, oh, come on, you could have made a bit more effort. But, oh well, that's me. I have to go to work soon. Great show. Bye from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I believe that's what FL is, isn't it? My knowledge is bad with America. But yeah, thank you for joining the channel, mate. I mean, thank you to all who have joined this channel. 45 people. It seems like more than 45 people. I mean, it's a low amount, you know, when compared to other channels. Yes, fair enough. But I've got to stop letting myself get too down by looking at numbers. You know, somebody else can go, oh, look at me, I got a couple of thousand people watching my show, and it's like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Why does no one know me? But the more, if I think about that too much, I'll just end up getting depressed. So, but honestly, first stream, 45 people. Everybody is chatting like crazy. Loads of cool questions. People I recognize who have commented on my stuff. You know what? I'm cool with it. It's good to have a dedicated fan base one way or the other. And this stuff will build up over time. It's the first stream. It's a test stream. And as good as this one is turning out, can't wait to get more of them on there. Heineken says a lot about English beer that you prefer one of the Netherlands' worst beers over English beer. I don't go for a lot of English beer. I'm not saying Heineken I love. It's just I went around the museum and it was alcohol and you got some for free while you were there. I wanted to drink, okay? I was, this was with the ex-girlfriend, okay? I needed the alcohol, all right? So, but I'm not going to say it's a favorite by any means. I don't remember beer names. But by all means, if I come to Netherlands again, by all means, if you want to, if I find a way to get back to Netherlands during, these times, and we go play some games and stuff, then by all means, show me some local food and beer. I'll happily drink some. Hertog Jan is the best Dutch beer. Belgium knocks out of the water for beer, though. I'll take your word on that, because people have been wanting to invite me to Belgium for a while, and maybe at some point I should probably take someone up on that offer. I've been waiting for like a 3-day cruise deal to go to Belgium and back. Problem is, cruises are expensive when you go by yourself, because solo supplement kills you. And so it's kind of put me off, and now all this, it's impossible to travel anywhere half decently. So, but when things start laying up, I'll have to try and get back to Belgium. Well, not back to Belgium, actually visit Belgium. Absolutely true. Skafane, have you thought of having guest reviewers on your channel? Pick someone you trust and whose sensibilities are similar to yours. To be honest, I don't need them to have similar... When you say sensibilities, what do you mean? Like similar game tastes? If anything, I would actually, if I was going to do that, I would rather have someone who didn't have my game tastes or had different opinions, because at the end of the day, I don't say to people, here's my review of Tang Garden. By the way, watch my review. It is the gospel truth. Don't watch any other reviews. No, I tell people to watch as many reviews as they can about the same game. Get different opinions, because hopefully, especially if you've watched my shelf by shelf videos, what my taste in games is. So use that. You know that. So if you see me, are you ever going to see me talk positive about an 18xx game or some heavy train game? Probably not. I can't stand the genre. So if I was to review an 18xx game, chances are it's going to be a negative one. But somebody else, go watch their review of an 18xx game and they adore it. Get the different viewpoints and make your own decision about what you like. But would I like to have guest reviews? Maybe. What would I do? They do a video, submit it to me, I plunk an intro and outro on it, and then just let it go? Maybe. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe turn this into a kind of network for smaller creators, but then I'm not really that big and famous enough to get the exposure out for them. I don't know. Interesting idea. I have to think about that one. Your shelf by shelf was great. Thank you. I was surprised how well that did, but, certainly turned out nicely. Ooh, we're getting on for time. Let's see if I can rush to the bottom here very quick. Beer of het nu zik de podzi zik each. I have no idea. I had to moderate your comment when I saw it there because I was only so I noticed it. But I barely speak English, let alone any other language. So I have no idea what you just said. What's next after King Domino and Carcassonne? No idea. I don't own King Domino, and Carcassonne is only on the shelf because I don't know if I want to get rid of it, because Small Island in the other room, go check out my review of that one on the YouTube channel, I think surpasses Carcassonne. What's next? Who knows? You had 53 viewers at one moment. Woo! I can say I passed 50. Now my next milestone, 100. Gotta go for 100. Luke, we feel like your content is quality. Please don't get down on yourself. Honestly, Mohammed, thank you. Hearing that stuff is, it's tear-jerking sometimes. It is nice to get positive stuff from people. And some people do message me out of the blue, just saying, we like your stuff. I think she's left now, but Faye, who was here earlier, never knew her, messaged out of the blue with a nice comment. It was just lovely to get that kind of thing. And that's the sort of thing. It's great. I mentioned it with like the Patreon thing as well. Some people have like 100 million Patreons. I've barely got like 40 something. At the end of the day, I'd rather have 1,000 people donating $1 than 10 people donating 100 or something, because it's nice to have a good loyal fan base. But even here, just to have 50 people who watch my show, enjoy it, from all sort of necks of the world, and I'm just literally some guy. I mentioned on the podcast that I'm just some dude, everyday gamer like you. It's good to know that some people are watching, even if it's only a few. All has gone well. Well done. This is your first one. Thank you. Nice to see Dutchies here. I miss my board game shop in Deventer. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know the Venta. I really do need to go to Belgium and get some knowledge. A demon appears and says you have to give up playing one game forever out of Arkham and Lord of the Rings LCG. You have 10 seconds to decide. If you take longer, then you can't play either ever again. Go. 9, 7, 6, 5, 3. I would choose to play Lord of the Rings LCG. I like both, but Lord of the Rings LCG would be the preference because I like the theme better. It's more challenging. There's an absolute ton of content for it, and there's all sorts of variety I can do with it, and it's still going. Arkham Horror LCG I do love, but the one nitpick I have with Arkham Horror LCG is the token bag, the chaos bag. It's that luck element where I think, problems. It can just hose you by bad luck. So that's the one thing that would decide it for me. So yeah, I would keep Lord of the Rings LCG. There you go, Demon. Well, hell, it's Arkham Horror. You'll feel right at home, Mr. Demon. Favorite games to travel with and favorite games to travel theme. Oh god. Any small game? I mean, what have I got? No thanks. That's pretty good for travel. Patchwork. Any Cosmos 2-player game like I got on the The Crew, the Spiel des Jahres winner recently. That would be very good as a travel game. Lady and the Tiger. Here you go. I'm going to get onto as many things as I can. That would be a good one. Point Salad. That's pretty good. I mean, pretty much any game that comes in a small tin. Abyss Conspiracy. It depends where you're traveling. I mean, if you're traveling and camping, you've got barely any table space. That's going to be really restricted. But if you're traveling and you're just going on holiday and you're going to get a table, then whatever you can fit in your bag that's small, just look for a game that's no bigger than this, and you'll do pretty well. Message retracted. Not sure what that was. Favorite games with travel theme. Don't think I have any specifically for travel theme. Hard to say, but I need to start wrapping this up. I'll very quickly go to the bottom of the screen here. I like your channel because it always feels genuine and fresh. Dice Tower is good for a quick review of a game you're looking at, but I like yours more for watching and entertainment and info on top. Well, thanks. Good to know you like it as entertaining because I don't like subscribe. I tried to throw in a few movie gags in my stuff and I tried to come up with the occasional gag, but it's on the fly. I hate the whole scripted humor thing. I mean, people like Nostalgia Critic and things like that can do it well. Screen Rants, the pitch meetings, that's scripted humor done well. But the shut up and sit down style, and even in some respect the no pun included style, I mean, they're no pun included, they're great people, but it's just that style of humor I just don't go for. It's not my thing. I grew up with British dry wit humor, and it's very different to a lot of other humor out there. But I don't want this channel to be a scripted channel. Everything I do is I have bullet points for a plan. That's it. Other than that, there is no script. If there's a gag or something funny that happens, like a movie thing that comes up, it's literally because in the editing room or on the fly, I've gone, well, that'll work, and I've done it. So that's just the way I go with it. Just made it, thought I missed it. Thank you, Sarah, for actually joining the chat. Sorry that it's about to shut down in about a minute or two, but hopefully I'll see you on another one. You can always watch it. Looking forward to the next one. Definitely a fan. Thank you. I know 5 friends who want to join your first stream but are stuck in meetings they'll see retroactively. Cool, Nishant. If they watch the video later, that's perfectly fine, and hopefully they can come to a future stream because this will, this will definitely not be the last. I'm Faye. Sorry, you hadn't left. This is the problem. Call yourself by your names. I can't recognize all these avatar names, but thank you, Faye. Great first hangout and greeting for the Netherlands. There's a lot of Dutch fans here, eh? Hey, cool for the Dutch. Haven't seen a Polish person here though. Before I shut this down, is there any Polish people in this group? Do I have to go back to PortalCon to see some Polish? Hiya, thank you. De Fantaires, almost Germany. Okay, cool. Your channel was 100% better than the Dice Tower. Well, I'm not trying to compete with the Dice Tower, but thank you for the high praise. Tell me I'm 100% better than Shut Up and Sit Down. I'll take that better. Caught the end. Congrats. Scott, how you doing? Congrats on the first stream. Just played Abyss Conspiracy. It's a good little game. Thanks for talking about it. Yeah, Abyss Conspiracy. Check that out. Love the Abyss series. No worries, I will rewatch it. Great first live stream, and only Swedish. Although I really want to visit more places in Scandinavia, Sweden included, because I've been to Norwegian fjords once or twice. Was it twice? Maybe it was only once, but the one time I did go to Norwegian fjords, I went there on a cruise. Loved it. The scenery, I love alpine scenery. So mountains plus lakes plus like rivers, that kind of thing. It is some of the most beautiful scenery I can think of. Norway, Austria. I would really like to go to Canada and see the stuff there. I mean, I would want to go to Switzerland and see that alpine scenery. I just like that kind of thing. Mountains compared with rivers and that. It's the most beautiful thing. Stay hexy and 100% better than shut up and sit down. Now you're just pandering. But cool. Right. We're on to an hour and a half plus 5 minutes. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So I'll minimize the chat window. I've got an end screen that will work with the music. But honestly, thank you so much, people. I mean, I'm liking the look of this. I like the fact that the platform's good. I can do some tweaks on a couple of other screens when I do the web browser thing, and maybe to get a proper intro, or maybe the intro's good enough. I don't know. But hey, there's a Polish bloke. Hey, thank you. But yeah, thank you. Honestly, this has been so much fun. Cannot wait to do this again. If I get to do this with other people like guests, that'll be in the long term. I've got to get used to this first. It's a learning curve, and I've only got so much time to learn because I do need to have a life as well. I mean, when I'm done with this, I'm going to check it's on YouTube, and then I'm going to go onto the PC and play some Deep Rock Galactic or some PC games and have some fun and drink some tea. But yeah, honestly, thank you guys. Thank you for the kind comments. Thank you for joining in the chat. You've been great. I've been reading all of this, trying to keep up, but you've been having great conversations. You've all been civil and friendly. This is exactly what I want to see. You know, regardless of whether you're here to see me or just chat to other people, it's great that the support is there. And yeah, you just I don't know how to end it. This is actually very touching just to see 50 people chatting and having a good time. I mean, by all means, if you want to do me any favors, then share the stream out. Share it, because I made a big deal about this being a first stream. Then, and seeing it was good. I was making kittens before this started, planning for it. I thought, oh, I need to get this stuff. Oh, no. And then literally finished work, and in an hour and a half going, right, does the microphone work? Does the webcam work? I need to get the screen. Oh, and where do I put these icons? I need to put the logo here. Is the chat window working? Why does it look big and horrible? It's like, although the chat windows actually turned out a lot better than I thought, because I thought it was going to have a grey background when I first did it, but that's only when I type into it. But as soon as you guys start talking, it's now the green background and the font's better. So fantastic. I'm going to keep that. But yeah, there'll be other streams. This will not be the last. So next few streams will be 4 E-Raptor videos. I'll do some 30-minute streams, 15-minute, whatever they are. Depends how long it takes. Probably 30 minutes. I'll assemble the game, and then I'll do Q&A for the remaining time. But keep an eye out for those. If you can make them, great. If not, then just watch them later. That's fine, because I am going to mix and match the times, so it won't always be 7 o'clock British Standard Time, because, you know, I need to think of Asia and New Zealand and Australia. You know, the time zones are at that end of the scale, so I might have to do some morning ones here so that they can join in. But of course, there'll be some evening ones and afternoon ones, and we'll see. I mean, afternoon might be a bit horrible, actually, because afternoon sounds like it would just screw up every time zone, apart from mine in Europe. But Europe can see me whenever, because we're that close. But America is all the way out behind, and Australia is all the way out in front. So I kind of need to keep it to morning and evening. Who knows? Anyway, I'm rabbiting. Lou, hurry up and end this thing. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers, whatever. Maybe I'll have some alcohol on one of these streams. But this has been amazing fun. Glad you enjoy it. As I was saying, if you want to help me out, share the video. Say what you thought. Just put it on Twitter. Put it in a Facebook group and just say, watch the first stream, really enjoyed it, come and see. You know, that is more than anything. You know, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But for the most part, just share it. Just get the word out and just say, there's a new streamer in town. His name's Luke. Watch it and see what you think. So I'm going to stop this now. So take care, and I don't know how to end it. Just thank you all. Have a great night. Stay safe, whatever you're doing. And as always, remember, it's only a game. Take care, and see you on the next one.